Hello and welcome to part 2 of the 1936 Philco 610 restoration. I wanted to show you the chassis. I've got a close-up here of the dial. I guess I'll start with that. And the dial, as you can see, these three dark spots that actually come in pretty good on here. Actually, the numbers come in pretty good, which is a little bit creepy because in person, I mean, I keep looking at the viewfinder here, but if I look over here, back at the dial, it's I don't see the numbers as well as I do through the screen. That's kind of cool. But these dark areas show up really nice. I think these are from sun coming in, shining through the dial onto the. I forgot what this stuff is called. I'm not even gonna guess. So what I wanted to show you was that this is washed out, and the reason why it's washed out, especially on this end, is somebody wiped this with a damp cloth. The ink they use on here is water soluble, so you never want to wipe it. And I'm not sure. I don't think there's any way you can clean these, and so that's, you know, don't touch them. Don't touch them excessively, etc. Before I go ahead and remove this dial, I was going to show you that the 1936, we had this glowing beam indicator, these three arrows. All three of these show through, and let you know what frequent or what stations you're on. This one's cracked, so I'm trying to be very careful with it, and I keep doing other takes of this video, and I'm just afraid I'm going to break it more. But it's split, and I'm kind of thinking I need to figure out how I can glue that back together. I don't know what, if anything, glues will react with this or not, but I'll figure it out and deal with it then. The dial's going to be replaced, and oh shoot, I forgot the website I get them from, but anyway, here we go. The knobs, as I was pointing out, or was mentioning earlier, the knobs in 1936 were black, and in 1937 they were brown. Kind of weird, but I'm sure maybe somebody decided, probably customer feedback. Philco was really good with customer feedback, so I will go ahead and take this off. This just turns. You can use a pair of pliers. This has been off and on a couple of times, so it moves pretty easily, but the first time you go to get it, you probably want to put needle nose pliers in these holes. There are these two tabs here, but if it's the first time you're taking it off and it hasn't been off in 70 years, you might want to try using the holes, because these tabs are pretty weak. So I'm going to go ahead. This just slips off. A couple of things. This is loose here, and I have to figure out how to tighten it up, because the screw that holds it on the shaft is frozen. And I'm going to try some WD-40. I'm afraid sprays everywhere, so I'm going to try this stuff here. I don't know if it's any good. Teflon penetrant. See if a drop of that, maybe with a Q-tip, to keep it from running where I don't want it. See if that helps. The condenser is loose because these grommets here are rubber grommets. They isolate it from the chassis. I think it's for microphonics. These are dry, hard as a rock, and I keep knock some of it off. So I'm going to have to order some of those. And the eccentric chassis washer, yeah. These go into the cabinet. It's kind of keyhole shaped here. I'm assuming from the weight of the cabinet pushing down, this is extra cushioning, and this helps the chassis float. And when these dry out, there's some on the bottom as well that floated up there. But when they dry out, of course, they shrink. What happens is the dial ends up sitting too low in the window of the cabinet, and the shafts don't line up properly, and so it's going to help. Plus, the radio was designed to have them. All of the tubes in here, except for the rectifier, the glass envelopes are loose, so I'm going to have to glue those. The two behind the shield here, these two tubes, the glass is really loose, and I'm assuming it's from because these are wedged on there pretty tight, and they grip that glass. And when you're wiggling this around, it's real perfect for loosening that cement they held the bases on with. The chassis is gross. I definitely need to hit that with navel jelly. I'm hoping it'll come off pretty nicely, but looks like it might take several applications. We'll see. Sometimes if you just leave it on there for a couple of hours, you'd be amazed at everything just wipes right off. It's kind of like those old commercials where the cleaner always made everything spotless in one shot. We know that doesn't usually work. The vernier dial is working pretty well and smoothly. It was a little, if you tried to turn it quickly, it would make a little bit of resistance. It kind of gave you a vibration. It was weird. I just shot a little bit of WD-40 in there, and actually for the last week or so it still works well. I may not have to disassemble that because there's 3 ball bearings in there, and if you don't mess with this right, because the shaft goes in here and there's like a little ball on the end of it, and it all kind of locks together. If you don't do it quite right, one of those little balls will fly off. You will never see it again, and you're screwed. So no, I don't know if I want to mess with that. The other thing is, let's see, I showed you that. This actually, the funny thing, this eccentric washer here is still stuck on there. I haven't ripped it off yet. It's super petrified. I assume it's from the heat from the 42 tube. The transformer, you gotta be careful of the speaker. You definitely want to disconnect these speakers when you do this. I left it on, I guess, to do the video. I just need to snip the wire because it's got PVC coated twisted pair, and it's ugly. I'm gonna order some. There's only 3 wires that go through there, I think, when they came down, because there's they twisted the wires together when he did it. I don't know if Bill did that or somebody else did, but I'm going to replace it with a little piece of cloth wire. I just think that looks a little nicer. The caps here, they have already been, this has been recapped, and some of the resistors have been replaced already. This here, this wax piece on the top is popping out. Somebody had taped this. I don't know what's going on there. This is peeling off as well. This cap, I think this whole cap was covered in cardboard, I guess. I don't know. It's just not right. But that wax is not right because that means something in there is cooking. And this cap, I'll show you when I turn it over, is leaking out the bottom, and I don't like that either. I may just have to empty it out, clean it out, and then put it back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I've seen a couple places online that have them. I'll see what I can do. The transformer, if you see this, it's got this like silver overspray on it, and that kind of confuses me because there's no overspray on here at all, and now that I said that, I now see that there is a drop on here, so I'm just curious how that happened. And now again I can see it. I didn't see it before, but I can see it right in here. You're not going to be able to see it, so I just makes me curious. I'm going to have to repaint at least the top of this. The sides are in really good condition. There's really not any rust on it, and I probably can get away with it. I'm not comfortable yet enough to take off a transformer. I've seen it done, and it doesn't look like it's really, really hard, but maybe I just need to, find a way to just do it. Eventually I'm going to have to, because I'm going to come across the radio at some point, and the transformer is going to be bad, and then I'm going to cry. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around so you can see here. Let's see, zoom on in, and you can see, hopefully, this is where the leaky cap from the top is, and this is the one that's going to come out because it's icky. It had gotten on this wire here. In fact, where it had gotten, if you can see, this wire is yellow or white. I'm not sure that color, but you see where it turns black. Well, that's from this stuff was leaking onto this wire, and it turned it black. So, I mean, it's reacting with cloth or the lacquer or whatever the heck this is covered with, and that's not good. I fear that this... I've seen where a cap has leaked on wiring the cloth before, and it actually soaked through the cloth. The cloth was fine, but the wire itself, the copper wire, had corroded and was basically, you know, it broke, and it was, you know, the insulation looked fine. So that could be one of those really annoying little problems that you can't figure out. And so I mean, this wire is just, it seems to be fine, but you never know. You know, I'll always keep it in mind. If something goes wrong with the radio in the future, I'll immediately come back and check that wire. Hopefully I'll remember it. This wire here is broken, so, oh, you can't see that. So this wire up here is broken, so I have to replace that. And this actually happens to go to one of the speakers. And as you can see, they took there's there's 3 twisted pairs of wire in here, and they actually combined them, 2 of them. So it's actually 3 double wires, and yeah, I don't like that. Interestingly enough, you can see this hot pink wiring here. Back in the I was into amplifiers about 10 years ago, so I happened to know that like Marshall amps used to use some hot pink wiring, and I thought that was kind of funny that this ended up in here. Obviously, I don't think Philco would ever use hot pink wiring, not to mention this is modern wiring. It's not rubber or cloth. So again, this thing needs to be, well, I just got some work to do. The big light blocks have been done, as I said, all of them. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought there were 6, but there's 5. So it's, you know, some of the dog bones are still in there, and some of these have been replaced. And as you can see here, Bill likes to use the carbon, modern carbon ones for a bit of authenticity. They do cost a little bit more, but if you can find the values you want in the modern ones, that it's I don't know, it's something, it just makes it a little more special, I suppose. So I'm going to wrap this up because I did not realize it had reached 12 minutes. I'll give you guys an update. I got a bunch of cleaning to do, and we'll see. Again, I don't know about this transformer. It looks really good down here. I mean, it's clean. There's a little bit of grease on it, but you know, there's no damage underneath. The top of the chassis looks gross, but the bottom looks pretty good, except for this down here. There's the this coil here. It's got some weird mold or something had grown on here, pitted it, and I should not be. Don't ever rub a coil with something sharp, by the way. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I will give you guys an update as soon as I get some more done.